fam. It is another Thursday edition of Bets. I am Tyler Fulghum. She is Erin Dolan, one of two lovely and talented ladies that will be joining me today on the show. Anita Marks is standing by. We'll get to her in a second, as I will merely be just the man in the middle. Got a lot to get to on this show. NFL, we'll see Saturday and Sunday games. NBA tonight, some college football with the championship game on the horizon on Monday. You see right there on your screen where to find all of our gambling content. YouTube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. We give you everything across every single platform we have here. So, Erin, are you ready for another jam-packed Thursday edition of Bet?
Yes, let's get into it.
Well, you know we have to get started with the good word. We like to flex our brain muscles here, show our moms the vocabs that we picked up while we were wasting all of mom and dad's money in college. You know the deal here. I'm going to read a prompt, read something about the sports world. You just tell me the first word that pops into your head. I will do my best to see if I can spell that word while you tell the folks at home why it made you think of such. First prompt here. In college hoops, Erin, Baylor 11-1 to win the NCAA championship. That's the fourth shortest odds on the board. They're undefeated this year at 14-0. They are the defending champs. So what is your good word for the Baylor Bears?
My good word is good. And Tyler, if you can't spell this, we are going to have a much larger conversation. But good as in these are very good odds for a team that is the defending champs. We saw last season they were able to beat Gonzaga in the March Madness. And Baylor, like you mentioned, they've won 14 straight, and they've been able to beat some pretty good competition compared to Gonzaga, who's dropped a few games. They lost to Alabama. They also lost to Duke. So what really comes down to, I feel like, in the regular season when you're trying to figure out who you should be playing is looking at the competition. And I would say the best win for Baylor would be against Michigan State. They won that not too long ago. But again, you kind of have to see how they're going to play down the stretch against some of the top 25 teams. I know that Baylor is going to be playing teams like Alabama, you have Kansas, all top 25 teams. So I think it's a good price to get it now because this line's going to continue to move down, especially before March Madness. And I mean, March Madness is a total gamble if you want to talk about what's really risky.
Agree with you there. I tried to spell good as I could on the screen there. A couple of options for you. I will come up with this word, and it is more like a stock term, and you kind of hit on why I am bullish on this value for the Bears. They're undefeated. They're the defending champs, and they've brought back a strong portion of that nucleus that won the championship a season ago. And at this value, I am bullish on going to the window and backing the Bears. You mentioned it, Erin. Once you get into the tournament, anything can happen. It's the dance. Cinderellas emerge, and upsets, of course, happen. If I can get a team that's 14-0, did it last year, has that experience, and is one of the better teams in the country at 11-1 right now, I am bullish on that value for the Bears. So as our friend Anita Marks, who you'll hear from in a second, would say, run, don't walk to that window and bet on the Bears right now because that is some good value on Baylor. All right, let's move forward here on the good word to the NFL, where Ja'Marr Chase, we talked about him last week on Bet, is now a -275 favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He surpasses Mac Jones as the odds-on favorite after that epic 266-yard, 3-touchdown performance against the Chiefs just last Sunday. Your good word for Ja'Marr being the Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite, Erin?
Wrong. And I'm calling myself out here, as in I was wrong and you were right last week, Tyler. Like you said, we were talking about this, and I said Mac Jones was clearly going to be the favorite. It was, I believe, -4 something last week, which is insane. And then Ja'Marr Chase was able to flip those odds after just one performance. I've never seen odds really shift that much in the futures markets. It's so impressive. You read the stat line, Ja'Marr Chase insane. 11 receptions on 12 targets for 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was an absolutely insane performance. The Bengals able to come back, beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and he also broke the rookie receiving yards, which Justin Jefferson, his former teammate, held the year before. I don't know what they're feeding these people at LSU, but something's working over there. Again, I mean, Ja'Marr Chase, he was great at the beginning of the season, kind of had a little bit of a few hiccups in the middle of the season. Now he's coming out and he's been hot. I mean, the last 4 games, he's had 471 yards and 5 touchdowns. So impressive, but I was wrong on that. I was shocked that he was able to flip to that much of minus money.
I'm going to leave it up there for just a little bit so he can marinate in it. No, just kidding. I tell you what they're feeding him down there in Baton Rouge, though. Crawfish and andouille, etouffee, gumbo, shrimp
Never
po' boys,
had. Never
fried
had.
oyster po' boys. You need to get yourself down to the bayou then, Erin, and indulge in some of those delicacies. The word I am going to use is justified. No, not Justin Timberlake's solo album, but I was
Great
justified in thinking that Chase had a chance to win this last week, just as the Bengals have been justified in taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. When everyone said they needed offensive line help, they go and get another receiver for Joe Burrow, because as great as Sewell has been for the Lions, Chase has been the best rookie in the NFL this year, and that includes him being justified now as the favorite over quarterback Mac Jones, who's been awesome. Don't get it twisted. But there's been no rookie that has been more impactful from play to play than Jamar Chase this season. We thought the Patriots would be a decent team, maybe a fringe playoff team, because they have Bill Belichick. We didn't think the Bengals would win their division. And it's not all Jamar Chase. Burrow needs to throw him the rock, but Chase has taken this team to another level offensively, and that's why I think they are justified, I was justified, and he is justified as the Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite. Final good word to summon from that dome of yours, Erin. The Las Vegas Raiders take on the LA Chargers in what is essentially a win and you're in playoff game on this weekend in LA, or in Las Vegas, down the street. Their team total for the Raiders, 23.5. What's your good word, Erin?
Under. Every word I've given you has been pretty easy to spell, Tyler. I'm going under because quite literally I think this will go under. You have a Raiders team. They've only scored 16 points in the last 5 games on average. They're averaging 21 points per game so far this season. The last time they hit over 23.5 points was when they played the Dallas Cowboys and went into overtime on Thanksgiving. They're not cashing these overs whatsoever. That's why I'm rocking with the under. The under is also 4-0 in the Raiders' last 4 games, following a straight-up win, and they did just beat the Colts. Keep that in mind. I know both teams struggle on defense, and that's a big theme for this game. And a lot of people saying, the Chargers, they allow 27 points per game, so the Raiders would be able to go over this. I personally do not think that. We haven't seen much of the Raiders being able to cash in over 23.5, so definitely rocking with the under on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Erin. This is why I like you. You give me easy words to spell, so you're in my good graces. My word is confidence. I got to pick shorter words to write, by the way, so I can keep the tempo of the show going. The Raiders have scored more than 23 points just one time since week 9, I believe, since November, and that was on Thanksgiving Thursday against the Dallas Cowboys. So that gives me the utmost confidence, Erin, to bet the under like you suggest for this particular bet. As a matter of fact, it is one of the single bets on all of the Week 18 NFL card that I have the highest confidence in. One of my bigger bets will be the Vegas Raiders team total under 23.5 in that matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. So you say under, I say confidence in that under bet is what bettors should have when they go to the betting window. All right, I'm putting the pencil away. The good word is over and done with. I see that, again, you did well in grammar because you had some good words there to help me, or that made it easy for me to spell, Erin. I appreciate that.
Some of my words in the previous segments have been too long, so I had to shorten them up.
I got to get my act together and just start getting 3-letter words in there to keep it tight. But I said when the show started, I need 2 lovely and talented ladies. So let's bring in my other homegirl, Anita Marks, to join us now, who's going to help us out breaking down and handicapping this do-or-die Week 18 matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers. We have the Chargers installed as a 3-point road favorite here. Total of 49.5. You see the money line there, minus 160 for the Chargers, plus 140 for the Raiders on Monday night. I'm going to start with you here first, Anita, since you're joining us for the first time. Develop a game script for me as it pertains to side or total. How do you think this Sunday night affair is going to play out?
So you know me, Tyler. I like to buy the hook down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the Chargers down to minus 2.5. I don't want to tie. That's like kissing your sister. Not that I've ever kissed my sister, but I want to win. So I'm buying it down to minus 2.5. I'm going with the best quarterback that's going to be suiting up that day. And of course, the shirt I'm wearing is Justin Herbert. He has just put on a clinic the last 5 weeks. He's just been otherworldly, and marinating this for a minute, he has 33 drops from his wide receivers this season, and he's still putting up astonishing numbers. He's the second best quarterback on third down conversion rate. So with all due respect to Derek Carr, I take Herbert 7 days a week and twice on Sunday night over Carr, that's for sure. On top of that, the Raiders play a lot of cover 3, and when you go back and look at game film, Herbert thrives against cover 3 coverage, and the Raiders really don't mix it up. It is what it is. You get what you get. I'm also going to play a prop bet over rushing yards and over carries for Josh Jacobs. One of the downfalls for the Chargers is their rush defense. Therefore, teams come in, they rush the ball. Josh Jacobs has been averaging 17, 18 carries a game the last few weeks. So I think they do feed him the ball, and I think he goes over. I think he gets at least 60 yards, so he'll hit that over as well. That's how I'm playing this one on Sunday night, guys.
All right, Anita rocking the Herbert jersey, going to be backing Herbert, but buying that hook to get it under a field goal at Allegiant Stadium. Erin, your turn. Are you feeling the same kind of vibes as Anita, or you got a different way you're looking at this matchup?
No, I have the same vibes as Anita for this one. Now, I'm looking at the Chargers' first half total over 13.5. They're averaging 14 points in the first half so far this season, and we know they can put up big points. Now, the Chargers were able to beat this team 28-14 on October 4th. They went up 21 points in that first half. The Raiders didn't score until that third quarter. I really like this because I know this is going to be a competitive game, and Anita touched on Justin Herbert and how great he is. And the one thing that's going to help him even more is that the Raiders defense ranks 31st in fourth down conversion percentage, their defense that is, and they also rank dead last in opponent red zone efficiency. So they're allowing opponents to score 80% of the time when they are in the red zone, and Justin Herbert is just going to feed and feed and feed off that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they jumped out to a big lead. I really do like the Chargers for this matchup.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I like the Chargers as well. I won't even, put the money down to get that hook like Anita. I'll lay the full 3. We go back to the first meeting between these teams. The Chargers won that game 28-14, albeit at SoFi Stadium. I do think the under is the play as well. We discussed this, Erin, in the good word. I think that's going to be driven mostly by the Las Vegas Raiders struggling to put points on the scoreboard. I'm playing their team total under 23.5. I'm going to play the game total under 49.5 because I do not think the Chargers will allow the Raiders to turn this into a shootout. I think the Chargers can score 30 points, so that's my only concern. I like isolating the Vegas Raiders side because I don't think they're going to go over that 23 mark, but I do look at this game as kind of like a 28-17 type of game like we saw in the first meeting, maybe even a 28-20 type of game or a 28-21 type of game. All of those fall under the total of 49.5. I think the Raiders are the reason why under 49.5 is the play. I do have a prop as well, and we all seem to like Justin Herbert for this matchup. I'm going to play him over 278.5 passing yards. I would urge you to find a passing attempt prop. Haven't seen one posted yet, but I do think Brandon Staley in a must-win game is going to put the ball in the hands of his best player, and that is Justin Herbert. So as long as that prop is under 40, 39.5, I think that's a great play on Justin Herbert to go over those pass attempts because the Chargers play quickly. And when they have the ball, I know they have Austin Eckler, who's a great back, but they're not going to feed him 20 times. They're going to drop Herbert back 35, 40 times because that's their best avenue to beating this Las Vegas Raiders team. 10 has to have the ball in his hands, and I think as long as he gets those attempts that I'm projecting, he'll go over 278.5 passing yards as well in this matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, ladies, following that Sunday night, basically playoff game in the NFL between the Raiders and the Chargers, we get an actual playoff game in the collegiate ranks, and it's for all the marbles. The rematch of the SEC title game in the college football playoff title game. It is Georgia, who lost by 17 just a few weeks ago, as a 2.5-point favorite against Bama. Total of 52, Monday night, 8 Eastern here on ESPN, the College Football Playoff Championship game presented by AT&T. All right, Anita, I will start with you here as well. How are you looking at this rematch of SEC Titans?
So I'm playing this a few ways. First of all, give me Alabama and give me the points. I'll take them. I think the wrong team is favored here, first and foremost. I'm also going to play an alternate spread where I'm going to take Alabama -2.5. And I can get that at +145. And I'm going to use this as a 2-team 6-point teaser. You know how I love those this season. And it'll be the back end of a teaser that I'm going to use on Sunday in the NFL. And I'll tease Alabama up to +8.5, +9. That's how I'm playing this. And the same philosophy as we just talked about in the Chargers-Raiders game, I'm going with the best quarterback, and that is Bryce Young. When you go back and you look at that first matchup, Alabama, they made some adjustments to the offensive line, and Bryce Young just was flawless. 0 sacks, 0 turnover-worthy plays at the quarterback position, and, you know, he's more familiar with this Georgia personnel now that he has faced them the first time around. Georgia, one of their starting safeties is going to be out for the first half because of a targeting call. And when you look at the other quarterback, Barrett, with all due respect, 2 career starts against Alabama, 5 interceptions. Again, I'm going with the better quarterback and the points. I love Alabama in this spot. I think they take care of Georgia twice this season.
All right. Erin, are the vibes aligning yet again, this time with the national title game? What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to put it out there. Me and Nina did not talk before this and agree on every single pick, but I love Alabama as well. I love them with the points. I love them on the money line. I agree that the wrong team is favored here. I mean, we saw in that first game in the SEC championship, I actually loved Alabama money line and also took them +6.5. So it's interesting to see now, after how many points they were able to beat them by, and knowing how good of a team Alabama is. I know they just played Cincinnati and they beat them pretty great in terms of running the ball as well. But then you have a Georgia Bulldogs team that came in and they played the Michigan Wolverines. And yes, they blew them out of the water too, and their defense was great in that. But they were also very angry from that SEC championship game. If you think Nick Saban is not going to have more tricks up his sleeve for the national championship with a better quarterback, Kirby Smart has never beat him in the playoffs, in the regular season. I mean, I don't know what more you need to see from Alabama to think that they aren't going to win this game outright. This line keeps moving in favor of Georgia, and it's something that I'm very surprised by. So I absolutely would grab Alabama now with the points and the money line, because I just feel like eventually there's got to be sharp money that comes in on Bama before Monday.
All right, you ladies are like Thelma and Louise driving this Bama car right off the cliff. Well, throw me in the trunk, because I'm coming with you. I'm on Alabama as well. I don't.
That makes me nervous.
Does that make you Brad Pitt, Tyler? What?
I'll take it, Anita. Nicest thing you've said to me all year here on Bet, even though the year is, just 6 days old. Yeah, I'm Brad Pitt in the trunk with Thelma and Louise. We're all in on Alabama right here. I'm going to take the points with Bama. I'm going to play Bama on the money line. I am going to point out, like the two of you did, that Alabama since 2009, has been an underdog a grand total of 3 times. It was in the 2009 SEC title game. It was in a random 2015 regular season game, and it was in the most recent SEC championship game. They won all 3 of those games as an underdog by 19, 28, and 17 points, respectively. 2 of those victories coming against Georgia, and as you pointed out, Erin, Kirby Smart, never beaten Nick Saban. I don't expect that to happen right now. As Anita pointed out, I think the wrong team is favored here. We're all in on the Bama Crimson Tide. I'm going to bet them every which way I can. First half spread as well, I think, is a play here. So Thelma, Louise, and Brad, I don't remember his name in that movie because it's been so long since I've seen it. But ladies, roll damn Tide in the national title game. That's all I have to say. All right, hang tight. Ladies, take a little break. We're going to hop into the association, and I need to bring our next distinguished guest onto the show. It is none other than Om Young-Mi-Suk, who's going to discuss tonight's NBA slate, particularly one team that we have our eye on. Don't stop me now, but Klay Thompson is scheduled to make his return as early as Sunday versus the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Golden State Warriors. Now, Steve Kerr has already said that once he's back, he is going straight in the starting lineup where he belongs. I want to know, are there going to be any minutes restrictions when he's back? Are they going to be running different sets to keep some of that pressure off of his leg, whether it's on offense or defense? What can you tell us about how Kerr plans to use Klay once he returns?
Well, look, you know, when I'm on this show, we like to talk music, and I like to use some song titles. So I'm going to go with Queen for this segment. And I'm going to say Klay just wants to break free when he finally gets back on the floor. Look, and I don't think it's going to really be that hard for him to break free because this is a guy that Steve Kerr said doesn't need to really dribble the ball in order to score. And in fact, he's just going to run around, fit right back into the system. It could be very seamless. Draymond Green saying it's not going to be seamless, it's going to be hiccups. But if there's any one player that can come back after this long of a layoff and have it be seamless, it would be Klay Thompson because he does not need the ball in his hands to score. And I don't think they really need to draw up plays for him, but I think they will definitely try to find him as much as possible.
You make a good point there, how Klay's unique skills and ability make it easy for him maybe to jump right back. And I'm sure the jump shot hasn't left him at all since he's been away from the association. Kyrie Irving is another player returning, and he has been under pressure from fans and media because of his vaccination status. We know he can't play his home games in Brooklyn, but he came back on the road against the Pacers, I believe, last night and dropped 22. Looked like the Kyrie of old. Now, he was not coming back from an injury like Klay. It's not exactly apples to oranges, but Kyrie looked impressive. If you saw him score 22 and I give you 16 points as the over-under for Klay and his return, which way would you go there?
Well, you stole my song by saying under pressure because you're putting me under pressure with this question. But I would say, listen, let's just say Klay is on a minutes restriction of maybe 20 to 25. The Warriors are going to be careful because they did this with DeMarcus Cousins, and Cousins came back from an Achilles injury. This is Klay Thompson coming off 2 injuries. They're going to be very careful. But as I said before, it's not going to take much for Klay Thompson to get off. He has been shooting great by all reports. I think the Warriors are energized by even seeing him come back. Draymond Green said the other day that Klay Thompson almost every day recently has been all nothing but energy. You can feel it so much from him nonstop that last night after the game, he said back in the locker room on the trainer's table, Klay Thompson was knocked out and snoring because that's how energetic and how good he was feeling leading up to that. So I think he's going to come out like a ball of fire. I think the players are going to try to find him, and I would like to see it. So I'm going to say above 16 points in his debut.
All right, over 16 for Klay when he returns. It won't be tonight. The Warriors will be in action, though, tonight. And we've seen this line make some crazy moves against the Pelicans. The Warriors were favored by as much as 6.5 in New Orleans when we went to bed last night. As we're getting ready for tip-off in a couple of hours, it's now swung all the way through 0 to the Pelicans now favored by 1. And the total has plummeted almost 10 points to 211.5. You're my best friend. So I need some help here. Tell us why this is happening. Who's in and out for each lineup?
Like Bohemian Rhapsody, is this just a fantasy or is this the real life? Or no, wait, is this the real life or is this just fantasy? I would say this is real life. No Steph Curry tonight. No Draymond Green. No Juan Toscano Anderson. Still, Golden State still has plenty to score. This could be the Jordan Poole show tonight or the Wiggins show tonight or maybe even Otto Porter Jr. But I believe New Orleans has Valanciunas back tonight, so they're they probably have a little more talent on the floor. Golden State has obviously played well at times without their stars, but I can understand why this line has changed. I'm not going to count Golden State out yet. Jordan Poole's been pretty good this season when given the opportunity to have the green light.
All right, a guy who's got more drip, more swag than Freddie Mercury, Young Masook, joining us to break down the Warriors as a team and tonight's matchup against the Pelicans. You're the best. We appreciate you joining us on Bet.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, now back to the two ladies who helped me keep this show above board, Anita Marks and Erin Dolan. We're going to run the 3-person weave in the association. And let's just stick with that game that we were talking about, Warriors-Pelicans. You heard what Ohm had to say. Steph Curry and Draymond Green are out. Jonas Valanciunas in for the Pelicans. Some help there. Anita, again, I'll start with you. What's a bet that you like in this matchup?
Yeah, if I had a play here, I'd go under. Again, Curry, Draymond Green are out back-to-back for the Pelicans. But I have 2 prop bets that I really love. One is Andrew Wiggins over points, assists, and rebounds. That's at 29.5. And Devontae Graham over 18.5 points and assists. Wiggins, no Curry, as we just heard from Ohm, no Clay as of yet. Hopefully this week. He's averaging 35 minutes and 45% shooting. And Graham, I think less attention is going to be on him. And he's averaging 15 points and 5 assists a game. So I'm going with some prop bets in this matchup.
Yeah, Wiggins should have soaked up a lot of that usage alongside Jordan Poole, who mentioned as the primary beneficiaries with Draymond and Steph Curry out. Erin, how are you looking at this matchup?
I'm also looking to play a player prop. Jonas Valanciunas over 29.5 points and rebounds. He's averaging 19 points on the season, 12 rebounds on the season, and in the last 2 games, they were against great teams. They unfortunately lost. They lost to the Jazz and the Suns, but Jonas Valanciunas was able to put up 25 points alone, easily scoring over 29.5 points plus rebounds. Now, the last time these two teams met, he was able to score 20 points, 14 rebounds, and considering Draymond Green is not going to be in this, it's just going to continue to bump those numbers up just a little bit. He's also had to step up because the Pelicans' leading scorer, Brandon Ingram, hasn't been as healthy as he wants to be. He's kind of still nursing that Achilles soreness, so I think he's going to continue to step up, especially against the Warriors tonight.
I think you two have very strong prop plays there, especially Valanciunas being able to feast against a defense that should not be as good. I love the Wiggins prop as well. I'll mention Doug Kazarian's best bet on Daily Wager today was Jordan Poole over 20.5 points, and that's been steamed up ever since the Steph Curry business. I'm just going to trust the better team, the better culture. I don't love it, but if I play it aside, give me the point with the Warriors. At that point, you can just basically play them on the money line as well. Even without Steph and Draymond, I think Jordan Poole, Wiggins, Otto Porter Jr., Gary Payton II, and Steve Kerr as the head coach, that culture will be able to go into New Orleans and beat a Pelicans team that's just bad. They're 13-25 this season for a reason. We know how good the Warriors are. Most of that is due to the 2 guys that are out, but I still think those secondary, tertiary support players can get a win on the road against one of the worst teams in the NBA. One of the best teams in the NBA, one of the hottest teams in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies in Grind City. They're welcoming the Pistons, another awful team, to the Grindhouse tonight. Laying 13, total of 217.5. Anita, what say you?
Found this on Caesars. This might be my favorite play tonight, and that is John Morant, 25 points, and the Memphis Grizzlies just win straight up, and you can get that at plus 206. How about that? As we know, as you said, Tyler, hot team, winning 6 straight. Meanwhile, Detroit, on a back-to-back, they gave up 24 three-pointers to the Hornets last night, and as we know, Morant is averaging 35 points a game. So it might be my favorite bet tonight.
Yeah, Ja's been a beast. Erin, I know this is a game that you liked and Daily Wager. What you got?
Love that. Looking at the Memphis team total over 115.5. They've hit this in 3 straight games despite going 2-1 straight up. You have a Detroit Pistons team who just gave up 140 points to the Hornets, allowed them to shoot 59%. You have players like John Morant who can go out there and absolutely score buckets. The Grizzlies have been hot, and I just think this is a spot that they'll be able to easily hit this over because the Detroit Pistons are on a back-to-back. They're traveling. They're terrible at defense. They rank 23rd, and you got a Memphis Grizzlies offense that ranks 5th right now in the league, especially in scoring. So definitely going to rock with that Grizzlies team total over 115.5.
Yeah, that was my best bet on Daily Wager, the Grizzlies team total over. I sent a YouTube short out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. That was the Pistons team total under 102.5. So if I'm playing both of those, you know I like the Grizzlies minus 13. You can play them every which way. I'm going to try and nail this game on both totals and the side. So love the Grizzlies. Think they dominate a Pistons team, as you mentioned, on the second leg of a back-to-back. And the Grizz are just awesome right now, winning 6 in a row. Ja Morant is looking like an MVP, no doubt about it. All right, ladies, we just have about 90 seconds left for Clippers and the Suns. Suns laying 10.5, total of 221. Anita, I'll start with you again.
Yeah, I'll lay the points with the Suns. I also like Devontae Booker over 31.5 points and rebounds. They're the better team. Clippers have lost 7 of their last 10. Their offense ranks 4th in the NBA, and really the best stat here for me is they're giving up 54 points in the paint. That's where Booker, that's his wheelhouse, those jumpers he likes to put up, and he's shooting 45%.
Erin, what do you think?
Suns team total over 116.5. They're averaging 113 points this season, which is the third best mark offensively. And you have a Clippers team that's been struggling. They've allowed opponents 115 points in 4 of the last 5 games, despite on the season allowing opponents only to score 107 points. I just think this is a spot for the Suns, especially also since this line keeps moving up. I know the public is able to keep betting this up, but Suns, again, team total over 116.5.
And because I'm lazy and a poor student, I'm just copying Erin's homework there. I, too, am on the Suns team total over 116.5. So makes it simple there. I think, as Anita pointed out, Devin Booker and Chris Paul should have the time of their lives against a Clippers team that's wildly shorthanded. Get the win, score more than 116.5 points. That'll do it for this Thursday edition of Bet. For Anita Marks and Erin Dolan, I'm Tyler Fulghum. We'll see you back here bright and early Sunday morning.